Little bit of a rarity here, folks. It's Tuesday, and I'm at a park. Why is that rare? Well, because, my friends, I have a job. And unlike a few of our mutual friends, being at Epcot doesn't pay the bills. No, usually the money flows the opposite direction. And, by the way, today, it's autumn at Epcot, which means there's a lot more money flowing than usual, because today, my friends, we are visiting Epcot during the famous Epcot Food and Wine Festival. A very popular festival that I've got some mixed opinions on. Let's talk about it. Join us today, if you will, as we do just a little Splorin. Splorin! Straight talk, homie. A bad day at Epcot is better than no day at Epcot. Let's, just establish that on the get-go. I've been fortunate enough to be coming to Epcot really since it opened, even though I was not from Orlando. Because of what my father did for a living, I spent a lot of time in Orlando and basically opened the park. And although I've always loved the absolutely beautiful Spaceship Earth, Walt's big golf ball, I didn't always love coming to Epcot itself. The reality was, Epcot was not really built with kids in mind. In fact, when you first opened it, you weren't going to find a whole lot of characters or even humor in Epcot, other than a couple of small areas like Journey into Imagination and World of Motion, which was a precursor to Test Track. These days, things have changed quite a bit, and from, all the kids that you're seeing come in, you can probably see they've decided maybe we should target a younger demographic. You see, kids might not have money, but parents... Well, parents don't have money either, so I'm not entirely sure how it works. Maybe grandparents have money. Regardless, things have changed over the last 30, 40 years, and one of the biggest changes has been festivals. Freaking non-stop, constant festivals. And today, we're going to take a look at probably the most famous, the most well-intended, the most popular, the most annoying festival of all, if I'm being entirely honest, the International Food and Wine Festival, which, as I said before, I've got some mixed thoughts about. We'll talk about that today, and we'll have a little help as we do. Before our friend arrives, however, we should probably pick up one of these festival passports. I'm told that you just don't really know what you're getting into until you have a festival passport. And what exactly is this magical instrument of finding out of things? Well, it is your guide to each location of the International Food and Wine Festival and what you can purchase and then either consume or imbibe. In my case, more eating than drinking. You are here. So, straight talk about the Food and Wine Festival. It's popular, as I said. People love to come up. There's a lot of cool things that you can do, see, eat. There's a lot of bands that are playing for free. I won't necessarily attest to the quality of some of them, but oh my gosh. Wow, look at that. I'm not sure how I feel about this, honestly. They are doubling down on Sitting Walt. Looks like they are starting to bring out the Christmas merch, too. It is kind of funny that Jack Skellington has become such a big part of Disney, considering he wasn't really part of Disney. I will say, I do like some of the merchandise they've been bringing out lately that's a little bit more, retro-inspired. The old Space Mountain logo, the old Pirates of the Caribbean logo, the Spaceship Earth logo. It's cool stuff. Kind of like this stuff. I don't $40 like it, but I do like it. It's cool looking. Gotta check the mugs as always, because as I've pointed out many times in the past, caffeine, folks, it's pretty dang important. Unfortunately, not seeing anything that I'll be purchasing today, but there's a couple of near winners. I'm a fan of this particular series. And there you have a Moscow Mule, Disney style. Probably not the intention behind that one. looks like they still have the walls up at what I mentioned earlier, the test track. Adam, a question for you. You usually know the stuff better than I do. How long are they? Yeah. How long are they guessing this time around for?
I haven't kept up with it.
Okay, this is I think the fourth version of a ride in here, right? So you had World of Motion,
Right.
original test track,
World of Motion down.
Tron track.
I think the facade or the circular part was the original.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
And then Tron track was the last one.
Yeah.
And I think they're going back to like a version of the first test track is what I'm sort of hearing.
I have no idea. They're getting rid of the Tron-esque overlay that they have.
Which
This is test track 3.0, I guess.
I think it does still keep the fast portion though.
It'll still do probably be the same exact ride, just different theming.
Less Tronish. Good deal.
You weren't filming it, but your gimbal just had an exorcism. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I wish you'd been filming me for a second there.
Flopped around. So you know my favorite version? So they're going to have Test Track 3.0.
Yes.
My favorite version of Test Track is Radiator Springs Racers at DCA.
I would agree. Which I understand we may be getting something akin to that at another park.
Hopefully it's not the same, but
Close.
yeah.
We're at the Odyssey right now, which, by the way, love the Odyssey. Got some very good memories of it from the 80s. But we're going to go in. I'm going to grab the peanut butter and jelly sticky wings, which, by the way, is exactly what it sounds like. It is crunchy peanut butter and grape jelly on wings, which, honestly, it doesn't sound like it would work. But have you ever had it before?
I had them a couple years ago. I had tried.
Yeah, it's not bad, right? Yeah.
I mean, all the wings are good because they're all chicken wings.
Yep.
But they're all a little wacky with their flavoring.
The traditional buffalo wings I've had, I wouldn't really say that they're the traditional buffalo wings. They're still good, but I think it's still like Epcot's version of it.
I love some traditional buffaloes.
Will you be getting anything?
Like any new school buffaloes are just
I would agree with you.
You got to go with the traditional.
Will you be getting anything over here?
Traditional buffaloes. Favorite shows are Andy Griffith Show. Look, Gomer Pyle, USMC. That's a traditional buffalo right there. I don't know where I was going with that joke.
That is the Gomer Pyle reference in 2024, so right off the bat, Jim Neighbors is rolling in his grave. So the Odyssey used to be like their event center here in Epcot. Now there's like 3 other event centers. They use this one more as like a rotation. If there's a big theme, if there's a festival, they put something in here. But I don't think it ever really has the same theme for more than like 3-4 months at a time before they swap it out. Back in the day, there was a stage. They would have a stage back there that you can watch the characters dance around.
Tables.
So as Adam just pointed out, these are not quite your standard bar height tables.
Shorter than the trash cans.
They are. By the way, if you've never been to Food and Wine Festival, you are supposed to eat your food on top of the trash cans.
We're here before 5. So there's plenty of tables.
There are.
5, the tables are non-existent.
This particular table is a property of Brewing Lab at the Odyssey.
Because you know what people want to do. They want to take these, take them out to the World Showcase, set them in their own spots, but you can't because it belongs here.
That probably is true, actually. We've got right here the peanut butter and jelly wings. As you can see, they are a little heavier on the grape this time. Last time I had them, it was more peanut butter, a little bit more peanuts. But we've got, it looks like 5 wings here. I paid $7 for this. We'll give it a shot in just a moment. But before we do, as Adam pointed out, there is, instead of the stage, there is like a Muppets lab set up in the corner over there. And there's a big screen above it. You could watch, I'm guessing, Dr. Hunson Bunnydew in Beaker would be my guess.
As Hunson Bunnydew or Bunsen Honeydew?
Bunsen Honeydew. What did I say? Bunnydew.
Bunsen Bunnydew?
that's something else. That's the
after 5.
it's a less attractive version for the children. Want a treat? So here's the deal on these. They are fried, not baked, which is good. Don't like a baked wing. The skin is sort of crispy. The nice thing about the peanut butter and the jelly is they are not liquid enough to really soak in and make the wings soggy. Soggy wings are disgusting. They still have a little bit of crispness to them. The peanut butter comes through pretty strongly. The jelly gives it a little bit of sweetness, but you don't really taste grape or anything like that, which was my biggest fear. I don't want a grape buffalo wing. It sounds like there's spiders coming out of the ceiling at the moment. And
there's nothing.
And people are getting out. Oh, look over there.
It's the strain right there.
Yes, and these are.
There you go.
It's Dr. Bunny Dew.
They smell good.
Yeah. Would you like a trial one?
No, I'm good.
We have now actually shown up at my favorite pavilion, at least in terms of how it looks. This is the Mexican pavilion right next door to the Odyssey. Holds the Three Caballeros ride, the Grand Fiesta Tour. I'm mixing my vaguely Spanish words. Used to be El Rio del Tiempo. I'd say it's still, Adam, what would you say? Maybe 80% of El Rio del Tiempo is still part of this ride.
They changed the screens.
Yeah. And this, these fine folks are sort of animatronics at the end.
They are. No, they're actually really good animatronics.
Yeah, but when they're there, I know
a box with a tree growing.
That's a tree box. Yeah, Donald sometimes goes other places. I have also heard, but I've been hearing for years that they may update this one
they
sooner than later.
I recently watched Three Caballeros.
Saludos de
At
amigos.
some point, Disney is not going to want that in its arsenal.
No. Having seen it, you are correct.
Yes. And Donald likes the ladies
He does.
too much
He does.
in the movie and on the attraction.
Yeah, it should. If you watch it, there are some nations that are represented that may have different political leanings these days than when they made the movie. This was 1940 something, I want to say.
40s, yeah.
Yeah, things. I don't know if you know this or not. Things changed after the 40s.
This is my favorite of the Three Caballeros characters. In
Punch.
the movie, he has guns. He has a holster and guns.
He does.
But on the attraction, those are
Empty, right?
there's not even a holster.
No, he fires the guns quite a bit in the movie. He uses them to float. It's his floating bullets.
He's my favorite of the three.
So it's Panchito, Jose,
He was the
Caraco.
first to appear, and in the movie before Three Caballeros, the Disney film before, is when he first made his appearance.
Yes, I think he's Brazilian, as I understand, even though they play him off more as like Cuban almost, pre-Cuban, Mexican.
We're spending a lot of time talking about this.
I want everyone to know exactly what they're getting into before they watch this movie. This in here, this is why I love this pavilion. Tell me this isn't absolutely fantastic. If you've ever seen like Zorro, the Anthony Banderas Zorro, this looks like a set from it. And by the way, that is an underrated movie, even more so than the three birds that we saw out front. Very few changes over the last 40 years in here, other than the fact that over here they have a very popular taqueria right over here that you can go in and get yourself some tequila-based beverages. I believe for the kiddos, they have a couple of non-alcoholic beverages too. So if you're coming in here, that might be worth a quick stop. Also, when you come in, if you go to your left, you see this building up here? There is an animatronic of Uncle Scrooge. I think he's firing a laser. It's kind of hard to see exactly. And I don't understand why, but I understand there's some sort of game you could play with your phone to make Uncle Scrooge shoot a laser. So if you know why Uncle Scrooge would shoot a laser on this building over here, by all means, I would love to have you comment below and tell me why that would ever make sense. Before we go anywhere, I want to point out this no climbing sign. I was here in 2016-17. I don't remember for sure which year it was, but it was early enough in the evening. It was still kind of dusky when a gentleman, a soldier of all things, so I only bring that up because he had training, very physically fit, had a bunch of wine, and decided he was going to go to the top of the pyramid. Now, he did not get all the way to the top of the pyramid. He got a good portion of the way up before they were able to get him off of the pyramid and bar him for life from coming into Epcot. But this right here signifies the Food and Wine Festival in 2 words for me. Food and Wine Festival, no climbing. If there's one thing I've learned about the Food and Wine Festival is there's never a lack of things to see. And before we leave Mexico, we're going to stop and see a duck about a horse.
Make sure we're not playing with the station, please.
Column will look better as a monkey, right? Or do you have a different column? Maybe this one's different. Yeah, it looks better. All right, guys, 6 miles.
Make sure we're not playing with the station, please. Thank you.
This is Cobra Verde. They've been here for, I want to say, since the beginning of the park. Some of them are the originals. I'm sure there may be a couple that are, yeah. I want to say most of them are the originals. There's a couple of new ones. But, yeah, these guys are classics. Now, I have had the bratwurst on a pretzel before. That is actually pretty good. The pretzel roll in particular was much better than I expected. I'm not a big fan of sausages that stick off the sides, but this was good. And as Adam pointed out a minute ago, this is usually by far one of the busiest kiosks.
Tonight, this will be a 30-minute wait. Well, 20 minutes.
I also really like this, and I couldn't exactly tell you why. I just really do. So we got the Oktoberfest gear here. Adam was just mentioning that the Oktoberfest restaurant here in Germany is definitely worth a try as well.
It's Oktoberfest every day in there.
Is it? Do they do the Oompa band and all that stuff? Okay. Just went to Helen, Georgia. If you haven't seen that video already, if I remember, I will put a link down below or above, or you can just Google it with some other Oktoberfest.
Buffet. Most places here are family style.
Oh, it's a buffet.
Where they bring it. This is a buffet. You actually continue going back up and gorge.
Interesting. So, straight talk. Oktoberfest versus going to various international food and wine festival booths.
You're better off eating it here. Yeah, 100%.
100%. Yeah. Straight talk, folks. Walking into the Flavors of America. This is at the American Pavilion. They're doing something very cool. I've seen them do for Food and Wine Festival like barbecue and Thanksgiving foods. This year, it's specialty hot dogs from across America. And it looks like, you can kind of see over here, they've got beer and hot dogs. Let me see if I can get, yes, I see the menu over here. So it looks like what we're dealing with is the New York style, and that is a hot dog with sauerkraut, onion, tomato sauce, spicy mustard, and a brioche bun. Hopefully that is a Sabret hot dog. Chicago style, all beef hot dog with tomato, dill pickle, pickled sports pepper, diced onions, yellow mustard, Chicago green relish, poppy seed bun. They have forgotten the celery salt. Carolina style, all beef hot dog, chili, coleslaw, yellow mustard, brioche bun. It's more of a traditional. And of course the Southwest style, all beef hot dog wrapped in bacon with warm pinto beans, tomatoes, jalapenos, avocado crema, and queso fresca in a French roll. Admittedly, those are not my favorite ways to do a hot dog, but if they offered like a flight, I feel like that would definitely be worth coming over here and doing that. Here's a real taste of Florida for you. This bird that you see swallowing right now, it's because he's forcing a lizard down that he just ate in front of all these people. Remember, kids, everything in Florida is trying to kill you 24/7. Just stepped over here into Japan. I've never been back on this side of it. Adam just pointed out there's a statue of like a monkey hawkman thing up on top of that hill. So if you were looking for monkey hawkmen, you know, Florida, we've got the monkey hawkmen. They got a little restaurant back here that I didn't know existed either. I'm gonna take a quick look inside, like a Japanese fast food restaurant. Looks like sushi, curry, ramen, udon, teriyaki. Actually, some of that teriyaki looks pretty good. Beer, sake, cocktail, soft drinks, dessert. I've also never noticed there's bells at the top of this tower before. A lot of little bells attached to that spire. We are in the back of the United Kingdom right now, the good old UK, number 30 on the back, and wow, they've got, that is Christopher Robin's house here in the UK. That is his room in the window right over here, and as we walked by, we noticed that Winnie the Pooh is actually in there greeting people today. In this modeled window that you can hardly see through, but you can see a yellow glob. And what, you ask, is this glob? Well, that glob is poo. That doesn't sound right at all. A little bit of behind the scenes we're going to do. Adam is a member of the DVC, the Disney Vacation Club. We're going to go inside and get ourselves a frothy beverage because I don't know if you knew this or not. Every man, woman, or child in America loves themselves a frothy beverage. And if you've visited my vlogs before, I give you vloggers filming monorails. So you don't see the monorail yet. It's like a magic trick. Is that okay? And then there it is, folks. I give you vloggers filming monorails.
Vloggers filming vloggers, filming a guy, filming the monorail.
Who knew a guy that owned a monorail? Well, technically we know a guy that created a monorail. Which is, you know, like knowing a guy that owns a monorail. Yeah.
I met him in passing. I would say I know him. I know of a guy.
You know of a guy.
Who I've met a couple times.
You're friends with a guy that is friends with a guy that...
with a guy that knows a guy. Just like the Married with Children episode about the guy that was famous because he met Andy Griffith.
Yes.
I met the man that met Andy Griffith. Great episode.
Great episode.
When was the last time you went up here? What year?
2021, I want to say.
You want to go up there?
Let's go up there.
Let's go up there.
Look at this. Member Lounge currently closed today. You know, if I were a member, I would throw a chair. In fact, I may throw a chair. Well, I mean, that right there kind of says it all. And this one's going to smash into it. Oh, this could have been a different video. Well, jumping on probably my favorite ride in the entire park, which is very odd saying that, considering I never liked this one growing up. But things change.
I think we're about to witness what is the lightning capital. Is it lightning? It is.
In the desert, nature has created a very different from the no less beautiful living system.
Las
While
Vegas.
this-
The mighty
The American ferry once appeared as desolate as the desert. But
Look
over
at that.
time, rainwater
The prairie's on fire again for the first time in probably decades.
Foods of the mighty buffalo helped create the rich soil. One day become home to the
Wow.
American culture.
Impressive.
The mall still respected.
I was on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, and I found a company that creates Disney theme park themed planters and pots and planting pots, things like that. And they had a very cool land version where you grow your crop in the center, and it's colored like the sand would be here. And then the river that you see surrounds the perimeter of the pot, and the boat circles it like what you see here. Very cool. I got to see if I could find the link to that.
Living laboratory where scientists from Epcot get nutrition for people living in the tropics. Many of while there are more than 50 diets, account for nearly 2/3 of our global another innovation at work. And better quality plants.
Yep, you're in the show now. Oh, yeah. 1, 2, yep.
I think I'm going to do one more piece from the Food and Wine Festival here at Coastal Eats. Nothing says smart idea quite like grabbing some seafood and eating it outdoors in the 85-degree heat of Florida. Never let it be said that I'm too good to eat on a garbage can, so we are going to have lobster tail on a garbage
Yeah,
can.
those aren't really in the way.
Now you have to add in the fact that there are tables this time. The problem is they're all in sight.
This is true. As people go by,
I don't think anyone should ever eat a food and wine and not eat on the cart. You have to always eat on the cart.
It's part of the experience.
It's a rite of passage.
So let's give this a shot. And we'll spill that all over the plate. You know what though?
Oh, nice.
And with a little the burnt lemon,
A little?
little charred lemon. That's not bad. So you're really picking up the char on there, and I mean that in a good way. It's not as rubbery as a lot of lobster that I've had. It's definitely a warm water lobster tail, which is a little sweeter, I think. But it's good. It's good. I would put it on the recommended list. Not the easiest thing to get into.
Worth the $13?
Worth it one time, let's just say. I wouldn't make a habit out of it. But hey, that's pretty black. All right, we're gonna do one more ride before heading out of here. And then I'm going to share some thoughts that may be mildly controversial about the Food and Wine Festival. Taste of old school Epcot right here, folks. Got a lot of this left. So as promised, let's talk about the Food and Wine Festival. As I said, I've got some mixed thoughts about it. The reality is that the Food and Wine Festival is more of a placeholder at this point than anything else. You see, Epcot always has some sort of festival going. Starting off early in the year, it's the Festival of the Arts. Moving on there shortly thereafter to the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival. And then we move on to the Food and Wine Festival, and we go to the Holiday Festival. And the reality is each of them now features a whole bunch of different kiosks with food around the world. Little bites with especially wines and liquors and things like that, which have largely taken away from the Food and Wine Festival. Because while the Food and Wine Festival makes the food and wine front and center, the rest of the events all have some sort of other theme plus this. So the Food and Wine Festival ends up being a lesser festival because of that. Awesome. While you couldn't tell from how light the crowds are today, realistically, while the tourists are generally here to see the attractions and taste some of the foods and see some of the shows and the sights, a lot of locals unfortunately use it as an excuse to act a little, how do I put this? Uninhibited. Whether it's loudly cursing in front of children, or falling down in the pathways of Spaceship Earth, climbing pyramids in Mexico, picking fights with members of their family or other people in their parties. While liquor is always strangely available throughout the year, Food and Wine seems to have given people the false sense that they have an excuse to overindulge. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they shouldn't do the Food and Wine Festival. I think that there is definitely a place for it. As you saw today, I've enjoyed a few of the bites myself. All that I'm saying is that when I think of Epcot, it's not my first choice in times to be here. Except for on days like today where the crowds are low, and the temperatures are just absolutely beautiful. I think that's about going to do it for us today. If you haven't done so already, there's a subscribe button below, there's a thumbs up button below, and you know, I sure would appreciate if you gave either one of them a little flick. And so, from the underbelly of Spaceship Earth here at Epcot, I hope you'll join us again next time as we do just a little Splorin. Get a pin?
Stitch pin. I don't think I have this one.
Just a little trade-in.